So I'm not going back and forth with a man who thinks that they should be in my position. If you want to be in my position, get in my position.
Do you believe that?
Bluff City Media presents the Anthony Sain Show on YouTube at Bluff City Media. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Anthony Sain.
Acknowledge me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Anthony Sain Show. Special edition today. Got my boy Kenny Sofield behind the glass. And of course, I know y'all ain't used to seeing nobody up here with me to start the show, but I got my guy, Brevin Knight. Y'all know who he is, man. From Night Court, the man himself is in the building. Brevin Knight, what's going on, my brother?
Man, sure, you know me. I'm always excited when I get a chance to sit down with y'all.
My guy, man. My guy's in the building. We're going to make this a special edition of the show. The Grizzly season is over. I reached out to you about a month ago. I said, Brevin, before you hit the links, man, before you get up out of here, you kind of come wrap up the show. You got to do the last show of the Grizzly season. You got to come wrap it up with us. And you were here today, brother. I appreciate you.
Man, that was a no-brainer.
Yeah, then
that wasn't even that hard. Like I told you, there's sometimes there's some hard ass. That wasn't even a hard ass.
Yeah. Then like I'm gonna tell you how Brevin flex on those regular people, though, man.
Yeah, exactly. I'm ready for this.
So I'm riding down Germantown Parkway, right? And in my Hyundai Elantra, you know what I mean?
I'm in my.
And Kenny got his dad van.
My dad van, my Acadia.
Right, he driving his Brevin. Oh man, I'm 10 minutes late, man. I'm still in Tesla.
Oh Jesus!
I don't even know what Tesla is, bro.
What the hell?
Like how you gonna flex on us?
Man, I was just letting y'all know I was just down the street, though.
I don't know where Tesla is.
It's just right down. I'm just right down the street.
Oh,
I'm just running a couple minutes late, but I'm gonna be
Brevin,
there.
All we need to know is how many minutes you was gonna be, man. We ain't have to know. Oh, I'm in Tesla.
I told Brevin, I said, make sure Elon knows mine's on the lot. I'm coming tomorrow to get mine.
Yeah,
right?
My man Brevin Knight is in the building, man. We're definitely gonna have a good time, man, for sure. Talking about the Grizzlies season, man.
Yeah.
I heard you guys the last episode of Night Court, and you were talking about exit interviews, right? So I'm gonna stay right there with you, but I want to go a little bit more in depth about some of the stuff you were saying. Last time you were on the show, just a tremendous show, man. I keep thinking about you talking about Ja doing this and not doing this. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah. So we're gonna go
not just side to side, but going forward
like this.
Going side to side.
Yeah, real stuff, man.
I still bounce to that rhythm every time. I'm like, ooh, okay, gotcha, yeah.
But it's real though, you know what I mean? And we did see those glimpses of Ja Morant doing that this season. We'll start off with Ja Morant for the exit interviews. I'm gonna put you back into the chair of GM Brevin Knight. I'm not trying to drop teasers. This is not me forecasting into the future. This is just a temporary situation we're talking about with Brevin Knight. GM Brevin Knight is in the building tonight, though. You're sitting down with Ja Morant, the face of your organization.
Right.
What do you say to him about how you want his summer to look? We don't want it to look like last summer.
We definitely wanted just a little tamer of what we saw last summer.
Yeah.
And it's no different than what I would always say is I never want you to not be you and be able to express yourself and enjoy yourself, but understand the magnitude of the decisions that you make. That's all I want you to understand is when you make this decision, understand how many entities it affects.
Right.
First and foremost, it affects you and your family. Then it affects this organization. And then because you are the stature and the player that you are, it affects the entire league. Like there's some players, things can happen, we'll never hear about it. Just because it's just another guy that's in the league amongst the other 500, 450, however many are in the league. But when you are one of those guys that are destined to be the face of the NBA, then you are in a different position. And so with all of that, just understand that the decisions that you make and where you are and what you're doing, it is always something that will be watched, and there is an effect that is bigger than just a smaller part because of who you are.
And we joked about, Ja's last summer, but in all seriousness, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, Kenny. If you really think about it, Ja has been eerily quiet. Like we haven't heard anything remote to anything with Ja. You know what I mean? And people may say, well, that don't mean he ain't been doing nothing, but that's mission accomplished though. You know what I mean? If he's learning how to move different and whatever he's getting into, I mean, like basically just like partying and going out. I'm sure he's not sitting at the house just twiddling his thumbs, but I'm sure he's doing stuff he normally does, but you're not hearing about it. And I think that alone is mission accomplished, man.
Well,
sure.
Exactly. That means that the message was heard. And then whatever growth that you do as you mature. We all have gone through it.
Yeah, man.
The difference is he's going through it under a microscope.
Yeah.
We all got an opportunity to do it away. Number one, I wasn't. There was no social media.
Yeah.
When I started off and playing in my career, And then other than that, I wasn't of the stature. No way in shape or form am I comparing myself with my career with what his is. But I was never at that level. And so the majority of society never gets to that level of everything that everything that you do, people will talk about. That is not common. And then you put that on someone that is just a young man that is still growing and learning, as we all are at that age. And so, it's a credit that there has been a level of growth. Because I said it when I was here before. I'm not telling you not to live and enjoy yourself. You just got to do it better.
Yeah,
that's all.
And at his age, I was definitely not in the NBA and broke. So and social media on top of that. So a fun Friday night for me was spending about $20, 10 to get in and 10 to spend at Club Premier or King of Clubs or something. You know what I'm saying?
10 to spend.
That's a ball night. 10 to get in, 10 to spend. Hey, depending on where we at, if we at King of Clubs, hey, that might be a nice little mama, you get. I had them 10 was in one. So
after college, it was being able to do more, but it ain't at the level that they're doing it
on
nowadays.
a whole other level. Yeah, you were making it rain like y'all.
It wasn't at this level at all.
You weren't dropping those stimmies,
man. No, I was like, hold on,
how much that?
Hold on, what'd you get?
You counting your money?
Yeah, hold on now. He don't want that. Nah, he don't want that. Go down the list and get the other one. That's how it was in the beginning.
Oh, man. But, yeah, shout out to 12, though, man. And on the court, how would you instruct Ja? Advise him.
The biggest thing is, I say for all of our guards, is mid-range jump shot. Mm-hmm. I thought he did a good job of and continue to progress at the three-point shot. And being able to feel comfortable shooting it off the dribble. Yeah. But mid-range jump shots, and even those are I call like free throw line to the top of the key. Those comfortable off the dribble. Yeah. But also just that floater before you get to the rim, just to slow down some of the contact that you have to take when you get into the air. Yeah. And physically be strong, ready to go. But other than that, when you have a guy like him who basketball is what they are. Mm-hmm. It's not much you gotta. It's not. Yeah. It's some things you say work on these type skills. Outside of that, they're gonna go do it.
Yeah, because I know he would give like the stonewall answer to a couple media members that would ask him like, "What did you work on this summer?" He would just say everything. Like he's a hooper. Like he's being serious. That's what he worked on.
And a lot of times for guys like that, I work on things, but the biggest thing is you play. Mm-hmm. I think that for him, the biggest thing is finding enough run to still keep yourself going because he's missed so much of that part of the basketball.
Jaren Jackson Jr. had a breakout season for us this year. Kind of had to by default. He was without Ja, he was without Dez. And I think he responded to it well. His efficiency was down. Like he would have a lot of games where he would miss a lot more shots than he would make. But just his assertiveness, his ability to get to the basket, had some monster scoring games this year. And you would just see him. You would see Jaren, because I made this conversation with people the other day, that Jaren is no longer one of the young players in the league. He's starting to be one of the older players in the league.
Yes.
As far as entering their prime. And you see him being able to body up guys to play the same position of him and some of the centers. Jaren was able to body up most of the centers in the NBA on the offensive end.
Yep.
So what do you think about Jaren's progress this year, and how would you plan for him? I got another question on that, but what would be your plan for him in the summertime?
Well, I thought the biggest thing for me this year was the willingness to take the shots. Now, yes, the efficiency dipped somewhat because it was a different role. Mm-hmm. It was taking shots more than just against one defender. Sometimes it was two. Mm-hmm. And now it's also against the best defenders because now they're running another guy. So I thought the circumstances dictated that the percentages were there. But what was good was it was a role that was a totally different role that he has been asked to play in terms of being the go-to player and also being the leader on the floor. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was the positive that you take away. Did have the big games, was willing to take big shots, was willing to then, after the fact, be able to talk about, I didn't play well enough, I got to be better. So I thought those were all maturing factors for him that will be good for this team down the road. And so the play side of it, I would want him, number one, to keep getting physically stronger with his lower body. Mm-hmm. Not just your upper body, with his lower body also. Conditioning-wise, come back in a shape where you can feel good enough to really run both ways into both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
For longer stretches of time.
Yeah.
And then on the offensive end, just being able to have a counter, he's always going to be the comfort is left-hand drives. That's fine.
Yeah.
Left-hand drive, you're comfortable, but be comfortable with making the counters to it and also being ready to play with double teams. Because I think at some point in time, what we saw was when he started dominating Rudy Gobert's of the league.
Yeah.
When he started dominating down towards the end of the year when we played against Denver, there was no one that could stop him. When
Giannis
when he started
Brook Lopez,
Giannis, Brook Lopez in Milwaukee, that started to show like eventually people got to send a second defender.
Right.
So now be ready to make plays out of that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. If you could take one player, even if you want to do one current and one former player, who would you have Jaren work out with this summer if you had the opportunity to maximize his game for his role going forward with the team? If you want to do one current, one former, or whatever you want to do.
I think for him, if he's able to work out with a whoever you would consider to be a inside out player who also had the ability to put the ball on the floor, like a
former Tiger assistant coach Rasheed Wallace. What's up?
Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah.
I mean,
Where Rasheed at, kid?
Listen.
He ain't. I don't think he's in Memphis anymore, is he?
No, he's not. He's not in Memphis. And see, that's my guy. We talk a lot. He has his podcast and he's going that route, and so she would be good for him. I think like I don't know if he's doing anything, but someone like a John Wallace almost.
I remember
from
John
Syracuse.
Wallace. Yep.
Like for Syracuse,
like from back in the day. Just because John Wallace had the ability to shoot it from the outside, put the ball on the floor. He wasn't one of those people who people knew a lot about,
But he had that game.
But he had that game to be able to play in that fashion.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ken. What do you say?
I have a question for you about Jaren and just kind of the overall player roles and that he played this year. What's going to be more difficult for him, ramping up to a bigger role this year or de-escalating down to the role that you think he's going to have next year with everybody back full force?
Well, I think the biggest thing is figuring out is not just reverting back to old Jaren. Like I want him to still be as aggressive, as demonstrative, as much wanting the ball as he was this year. Now, understandably, it's not going to be the same amount of shots, or there'll be a different shot disparity when Ja and Dez are playing at a regular basis and they're all on the floor together. But there's still, I think, through the rotations, that there becomes there are opportunities for him to be the Jaren that we saw this year playing next year.
Yeah. You talked about Desmond Bane. What do you sit down and tell him at your exit interview?
Continue to work on his ball handling and being able to make plays off of the dribble. Like as you get into your head of steam, you're going into your move, and someone comes to help, be ready to make a play. Continue to work on shooting off of the move, which is down, double screen down, you coming off of 2 down screens to catch and shoot. He's done a great job playing off screens. Keep working on that with his mid-range jump shot and the finishes around the rim. I think once players start to get to a certain point, it is just honing those skills that you've already started to get good at.
Yeah.
And for him, I think he had taken the jump in terms of getting back into the playmaking mode. But because you want to be and are thrust at times to be in the playmaking mode, understand the timing of passes. So a lot of that is watching film. When you play 5-on-5, that's something that you want to do more of that than scoring on that day. But it's the timing of the passes, when another defender comes, the different type passes to make the players. But other than that, it's hone the skills that you've already continued, that you've worked on to get to the point that you're at now.
When Marcus Smart was acquired via trade last year, pecking order wise, you would have figured it was some combination of Jaren Bane and then Marcus Smart, like coming into this year, right? We had injuries, all these type of things going on with him this year, adjusting to a new team, new style of play, all these things like that, and we didn't really see much of Marcus. If he sits down with you and he says, I have uncertainties about my role here. I've seen these two guys who play a similar position to me come in, these two kids who the fans love them. They're doing their thing. They do a lot of stuff I do, especially you got one that's 6'9", you know what I mean? They can do a lot of stuff too, you right? Then we got this other kid, Vince Williams, who the crowd loves. What is the role you have for me, Marcus Smart, the guy who you guys traded 2 first-round draft picks for to bring me in, to be the answer to Tyus Jones leaving, to be the answer to Dylan Brooks leaving? What's the role you have for me next year?
Well, first and foremost, I think you have to be acceptable of the role that whatever they spell out. If that is in a starting role, is that a 6-man as the backup point guard to Ja Morant? Is that playing at the 3 or whatever, the 2-3 with the 3 of them on the floor? He's going to have to accept whatever role that is. And then the playing side of it is continue to play and be aggressive, but understand it is their team.
Right.
Like you know, and so all of those little things and all of those veteran plays that they need made, you got to make those plays. The things that we saw done, but it's not going to be your situation. And I think for all players, unless you are a Steph Curry or you are LeBron James or Embiid, guys who are superior in terms of what they do, the rest of the players, you become more of a role guy, and whatever that role fits for a team, and especially a team like this Grizzly team that has a superstar in Ja Morant, that has their other 2 stars in Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. You're a supporting cast to all of that, but important to them winning. And so I think it's just the acceptance of the role is the biggest thing. Outside of that, do all of the Marcus Smart things. Take charges, get steals, make big shots when they need it, play in the post and be a small playing against another small, either another big because he's physical enough. All of those things. Yeah. And there might be the games where you're going off, then we may go to you. But outside of that, it's role acceptance is the biggest thing.
All right, Mr. Knight, I'm GG Jackson now. I'm walking in. Do you want me to play in my summer to be stand in the corner, shoot threes, play defense, feed up everybody else? Or you going to say, man, playing your summer like you about to be that dude in a couple of years? How you want my summer to look?
Plan the summer like you're going to be that dude. But understand that when you do come back, you're not going to shoot 25 shots a game. Yeah. You're not going to shoot 15 shots a game maybe. It may be in the 10 to 12 shots a game. And you're going to have to continue to do all of the other things. You're going to have to be a good defender, which I like that they put him on. They made him a main defender in a lot of these games and in different roles, whether it be bigger wing players, whether it be point guards who are good scorers. They gave him different roles on the defensive side because if you think Vince Williams Jr., you have to be a defender, but you like to have another guy and someone who's of bigger stature to be able to be a versatile defender. And so he's still going to have to be a guy that plays a role, but it can be a major role on a winning team because he still is the one guy who is different from everyone else in terms of size and athleticism. Skill level, keep working on his skill. Highly skilled player. But the other 2 things are the 2 things that can't be matched by the other guys on the team. And so he's going to be very integral in what you're going to do, but it's not going to be at the same level as what you did this past season with what they had on the floor.
Right.
Well, take your GM hat off for a second. When we had our last show with you, when you came on the last time, we talked about Vince, we talked about GG. You preached kind of quite a bit of you're cautious about your praise of them in terms of kind of figuring out what their role was going to be. Over the year, did that change in your mind as you sat there and were involved in you saw them at an up close and personal level? Did your opinion of them change?
100% changed. And to the fact where I think that Vince Williams Jr. could be a starter for our team and be a very good 3-and-D player. And we saw it for a short stretch when Ja came back. It wasn't long because we didn't have the group together long enough for it to be a long scenario. But we saw it long enough I was like, well, that's a nice guy with some size and ability that can be a defender for this team to be out there. And then for Gigi, you didn't know how his offensive and defensive game individually would translate to team NBA basketball, which we all know that he had the talent. Like there wasn't a question of the talent. It was how would it mesh to be able to play with other guys at this level. And we saw him just continue to get better and better at it. And so, at that point in time, it was let me see because they hadn't done it at all. But now they had a chance to see. It's like one of these guys I think could really be a start with this team, can be a starter with this group and help them be able to win. The other guy is definitely someone who has that it factor about them. It's just now about molding it and continuing to move in the right direction.
All right, I'm Luke Kennard now, Mr. Knight. I was just in the hallway. I just heard Vince Williams leave out. I was listening to you talking about Marcus Smart, right? You told him he might be coming off the bench and he'll be playing at the 1. So I'm just doing a head count. Okay, you got Marcus Smart, you got Vince Williams who can play the 2, he can play the 3. You got Desmond Bane who's a 2, you got Ja who's a point guard. Where am I fitting into all this? Because it seems like these dudes, they're switchable. They can play the 2 or the 3. They can play a little bit of the 1. And I know I'm one of the best shooters of all time. So what's your role for me? Because I got a contract situation y'all need to resolve as well.
a big contract situation.
Right.
And the thing for Luke is this, it's no question that with this roster and who they have, it's best for him if he's coming off the bench. But he's still a very big and vital part to the team. And I thought this year gave him a chance to show another level of his game in terms of being able to make plays and screen and rolls, not just being a guy that you just have to say shoot threes all the time. And so I thought it was a good showing for him this year to go along with Jaren in terms of leading guys who didn't know one another and who were going to come in and out. And so I thought that showed with him as much as you wanted to show, as much as you wanted to see what you can get from him. But at the end of the day, his role still is one probably more so of him coming off the bench for his team. And he provides something that only Desmond Bane gives us in the starting lineup, which is perimeter shooting. That's just consistent, that you can count on every given night, that he's going to make these shots. And we saw he can do a little bit more than just make those shots. And so I think we tell him is that you're a part of the same. You're part of this rotation. Yeah. Defensively, can't be a liability. Continue to give the same amount of effort. Keep being a playmaker when the situation presents itself, and be a consistent 3-point shooter. And that is it's perfect for what this team would need.
Yeah, I got one more exit interview. Then we're gonna take a break. And I heard you talking to these other guys too, because they came on the hallway talking, right? You just told Gigi you want him to prep like he's a star. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, because this kid can play the 4, he can play the 3. We got Brandon Clark back. You know what I mean? Jaren's a 4. I'm a 4. What y'all doing with me, man? I was your boy, man. I was baby Pau Gasol to y'all folks a couple years ago. I know I ain't had the best year, but I plan on coming back next year. So what y'all doing with me next year?
That sucks, dude. The thing is, injuries are always a part of the NBA game. So you can say this to everybody, but somebody within this is going out. Yeah. Hopefully you're not one of those people. So through it all, it's the importance of this person, that person, this. You are just as important also because of his versatility. Yeah. Now, I would like for you to continue to work on your strength factor. Does a good job in terms of endurance, change the ends of the floor, because you're going to have to be able to play with a little more physicality because you do fluctuate between the 3 and the 5 depending on what the lineups look like. And so you don't have to bulk up and become fit, but just keep working on being a stronger player. Yeah. And then on the offensive end, I thought he got better towards the end of the year of
getting back to the basket. Yeah.
Yes. And the thing was, it wasn't just even in the mid post or drives to the basket. He's a good playmaker. And if you're just standing out shooting threes, then you are eliminating 2 factors that you can help the team, which is finishes going towards the basket, and you draw fouls, and the opportunity to make a play for somebody to get them a good shot. And so continue to work on those moves to the basket, your ball handling skills, and then strong moves and finishes around the rim for him. But definitely a part of what we see going forward, and a little bit of how can you figure out, how can we get a little nastiness in? Yeah. This in there, the fire is there because you see it from time to time, but the nastiness on the floor that you're going to dominate both ends of the floor.
But like I joked about it just then, but I can totally see a situation where you kind of wonder what they're going to do with Santi. Because
yes,
you want to get Gigi as much time as you can. And you can play him at the 4 or the 3 to add that versatility. BC is a backup 4. Jaren is a starting 4. Like, what are you really doing with Santi? He's becoming almost like your fourth power forward.
Well, because, I mean, think about it, really, BC is our backup 5.
Yeah.
We play him we play even when everybody's
and you can play BC
Steven
and Santi together too.
Right.
Yeah.
So you play even when Steven Adams was healthy, BC was backing up Steven Adams.
Yeah.
And when he's on the floor with Jaren, he's going to defend the 5. Jaren is going to defend the 4. He's still going to play the 4.
Yeah.
And so Santi at the 4 with our lineup at this point, if Jaren's at the 4 star and Santi's still your guy coming off the bench, Jaren and BC would play the 5 in that scenario.
Right.
And so it's still very much viable, can be a part of this team.
Yeah.
But there are some, the strength factor side of it, and playing the way that you ended the year on a consistent, play that way from the beginning of the year.
All right, I got one more person in the hallway, Brevin. It's an OG, though, so he moving a little slow. Derrick Rose walks in. You can't bullshit him. He a vet. He a pro. He been in this game longer than our front office been in this game.
Then I wouldn't bullshit him.
Right.
I would tell you.
Come on, talk to him.
I just need for you to be one step ahead of Udonis Haslem. Which is, there may come a time where, because injury, whatever happens, that we need you to go out and play. But I can't honestly say that I'm gonna put you in the game. And if you're okay with that, and you can have the right demeanor that's moving forward, we love to have you here. And if that doesn't work for you, think that somewhere else you can play and do more, then we're gonna root for you to do that. But in this instance, and the better for you where you are physically,
right?
But what you can positively do for this team, I couldn't tell you that you're gonna play X amount of minutes every game.
So if Derrick Rose says, okay, I'm fine with it, I just want to be here, this feels like home, my kids love it here, my wife loves it here, and my baby mama love it here, this is where I want to be. This is where I want to be. Now, can I get insurance for you that I'm gonna be here? Because if not, let me go shop myself. Let me do that.
Then I think he can be a very good influence on this entire team. Because still at the end of the day,
but you gonna keep him around as well.
Would keep him around. I would, because at the end of the day, when he walks in, it's still Derrick Rose.
Yeah, it's Derrick Rose.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even to young guys playing the game today, it's still Derrick Rose, and he's a positive influence on this team. It's just a reality of where he is physically, where your body is. And that's just the reality of at this point in time.
Yeah, but I tell you what, man, we about to take a break, Brevin. We're gonna come back. We're gonna do something called I'm gonna call it the final verdict with Brevin Knight. Man.
Okay,
since you got the night court, a lot of stuff people talking about. We gonna kill it. We gonna get the final verdict right now.
Let's do it.
We're gonna talk about that and more when we come back here on the Anthony Sain Show with my boy Brevin Knight. Man, we'll see y'all in a minute.
All these guys fit a plan and a system that Penny wants to implement. Yeah. All these guys can run for the most part. All these guys have decent three-point balls. All these guys are interested in playing both ends of the floor.
Right.
There's just more of a focus than there was a year ago. It reminds me almost more of 2 years ago when they had that successful season start to finish with DeAndre and with Kendrick than it did a year ago, where you're getting all these shiny objects. You're working super late into the calendar. But there's a focus on, hey, three-point ball, play some defense, let's get up and down the floor. That's smart. If David Jones does come back, it just becomes very interesting and open, and the lineup combination. You want to be multiple, but the lineup combinations could be very interesting, and you can play a lot of small ball, right? You could have a deadly three-point sniper small ball lineup with Nick Jourdain in there. That would be. It's just interesting how multiple some of these guys could be. And
Tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I
It's
don't.
quite literally
That's
the
why I'm
worst.
not joking. Our games would be 3 hours and 15 minutes.
It is the
every night.
worst.
But if we're
I had
what
headphones on, but
the
I
hell
heard that
was that?
through many of walls.
Those are definitely gunshots, and I hear
there's
cars
still-
squealing off.
Still occurring.
Wow.
All right. Win shares not looking great there.
Is that literally still happening?
Still happening.
Wow.
Jesus
We need to be
Christ.
Yeah.
concerned. How many shots is that?
I'll lay low for a while.
That's at least 24 shots. At least. Speaking of a volume shooter.
Khalif Battle is outside.
Don't put that on Khalif
Hey,
Battle.
maybe Mikey.
Look, it's in our
I'm
name.
just kidding.
The
That's a
jokes are
joke.
all
I'm
there.
sorry.
The jokes are all
right.
there. Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show, man. Got my guy Brevin Knight, man. We did X interviews.
I wish you could have heard the off-camera conversation.
Oh yeah, we was on some real shit, man. We was on some real shit.
We gonna save that
We was
for
on
the-
some real GM talking to
We
each
gonna
other.
save that for
We gonna get some folks out of here, man. We gonna get some folks up out of here.
I'll be having to sit over here every day till my son didn't pay my bill.
We gotta do the GoFundMe to get my boy.
Some of that ain't making the camera.
Yeah, no, hey, they ain't even for the Discord right now.
That ain't even for the Discord.
No, that's for the group chat, for real. Only. Nah, that ain't for nowhere. Let's go die in this room. But no, man, final verdict time, man. We're gonna talk about some hot button stuff that's been going around, man. We just gonna kill it, man. We gonna go with what Brevin say, man. We ain't gonna talk about it no more. All right, the draft, right?
Okay.
All right. You got different ways you can go about doing this. And I think any path the Grizzlies go on, as far as acquiring a big man, I think the team is still going to be very good regardless.
Right.
You may want to go out and sign you a big man in free agency. Depending on what you do with the Luke Kennard type contract, you will have the either the taxpayer's exception or the mid-level exception, right? Depending on what you do with his contract or whatever, whoever's contract. But right now you're a taxpayer, so you only have the taxpayer's exception. You can either go get a free agent big like that. You may do a sign and trade for a big. That's a little bit more money. You may draft a big. You get all these type of options, right? Going into the draft, are you dead set on drafting a big man?
Not dead set on drafting a big man because you have other avenues, and I think that this team, a big is necessary. But if you can get a veteran big, then I almost like that a little bit better because this team is in the let's try to win now phase, not try to continue to teach somebody. I think the other guys that needed to get some more experience got the experience in Dez and Jaren, and now they can take off and go forward. So if you can find, somebody that some level of veteran big to fit that role, and someone with some athleticism to catch some lobs and can finish above the rim, set some screens, make some plays, and I think that's fine. So not dead set on it having to be in a draft situation.
Right. But the final verdict question is: do you have any concern whether the front office is going to get a big to play next to Jaren, whether it's either starting off the bench or whatever they're doing?
No, I have no doubt that they will find a big to play alongside Jaren because I think still at the end of the day, Jaren is best fit at being a 4 in this game.
Right. So final verdict: stop bullshitting, stop crying. They getting the big man from Brevin Knight. Number 2, Brevin Knight. What is Jake LaRavia? Like, what should I expect him to be?
I think the thing we should expect from Jake is the level of hustle, number one, that we saw from him. But we also saw that he's more than just a shooter. And I think what happened to him is we had him boxed in as, here's the next three-point shooter. They drafted, they got Luke Kennard. They got that, exactly. And now they got Jake LaRavia as their next three-point shooter. And because
he was wearing wristbands. He's Mike Miller. Look at him. He's Mike Miller.
and because we put him in that box, and because right off the bat he wasn't making the threes and he wasn't up at the NBA level playing consistently, then it was like, well, you guys didn't do a good job on the draft. But what we saw was there's more to his game than just shoot threes. Like and because of that, the getting to the free throw line, the putting the ball on the floor and making drives to the basket, the rebounding side of him. And the thing for Jake that you don't realize is like he has legit size to him. So for him is just continue to work on his athleticism as you continue to move forward and become more consistent with his 3-point shot. But while doing that, do all of the John Conchar things. Like all of the things that John Conchar does, you got to do all of those. But don't forget about the skill that you also have in terms of being able to make shots, being able to put the ball on the floor and create enough contact to get to the free throw line.
So final verdict, Brevin Knight. Is seeing believing with Jake LaRavia? Should I believe that he's poor man's Luka Doncic out there? Well, not that, but is he a guy that can be a rotation player on this team? Final verdict.
I'm going to go with believe. And then listen.
Y'all just heard it, goddamn. Y'all just heard it.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this much. And that was before that being somebody that was like, I just don't know.
Yeah, dude, get him out of here.
Yeah, like, it was like, man,
the low part of the man's season was when the word slaw was up on the screen and he was standing right beside it. It was just, hey, you can't come back from this. It's like
he came back from that.
He came back from that. What I'm saying, man.
But when I saw that, I was like, bro,
oh man, it just did the man bad. That all right. Which one was worse? That or Zaire? The dude had the free Zaire autograph. Dude, like, I want this garbage. Which one? Which one was the lowest boy, bro?
The Zaire one was the lowest. That was the lowest because that was all in control of the dude that we laughing.
It was an actual fan reaction.
You know what I'm saying? Like the other one was just he was doing the skit.
Yeah.
And it was part of the
Slow.
skit. Yeah, but that one was like that was like for real reaction.
Yeah.
It was like, take the camera away.
Right. Oh man,
camera.
that's funny. That's funny. All right, Brevin Knight. Now this one might be not a sore spot, but a sensitive spot for you, man. You one of the greatest backup point guards in Memphis Grizzlies history, right? Brevin, I remember the day we got him, Kenny Stubblefield. I'm in my office the other day at work. I got a Brevin Knight bobblehead sitting up in my office, right? One of the greatest PGs / you know what I mean, commentators for in Grizzlies history, man. Hall of Famer, you know what I mean?
My sister, who doesn't even watch basketball, called me when she saw Brevin Knight on your show last time and was like, he's my favorite player ever in the NBA.
Brevin was that dude. When we got Brevin that year, because you came over from Phoenix, right? You and Psycholitis came over.
Right? I came
that
over
was Earl
with
Watson.
I came over with
Lorenzen.
Pal. Me, Pal, Lorenzen.
Yeah.
I tell people that the reason why we got Pal was for me and Loren.
Yeah.
The trade with Atlanta.
I remember that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I know you're a historical backup point guard in Grizzlies history, right? So I know your answer might be a little jaded. I know you're going to come with some. I know you're going to try to look out for his boy, Ken. I know you're going to try to look out for his boy.
Yeah, I can see it already.
You already know it's coming out, man. Does this team need a true backup point guard like a Scottie Pippen Jr.? Would you do what it takes to get him? Because a lot of fans are like, he deserves a contract. We got to have a true backup point guard. And if that likely, would you get him a guaranteed spot, knowing that likely makes you have to tell that vet we just got out of our exit interviews, Derrick Rose, it's been real. Like, if it came down to that, what do you think?
I think that
how would you handle the whole situation?
See, the thing is, I think that with him being on the two-way at this point in time, I think you can get away with one more year of him still learning the game, which is play a lot of minutes in the G League, but work on the skills that we need you to work on while they're like, we don't care about do you score 25, do you have we want you to work on coming off mid-range jump shots. When you have threes and they kick it to you, be ready to shoot the three, but do the things that they would like for him to be when he plays with this Grizzlies basketball team. Eventually, I think if he keeps progressing, that he could fit into that role of being your backup point guard. Does it have to be next year? It doesn't have to be next year because I still think depending on what happens with the lineup, if you still have Ja, you still have Dez, you still have Marcus Smart, you still have Derrick Rose, you still have if you get into a pickle, you saw what Vince Williams Jr. can do. They use Jaren at that position. So you got Gigi Jackson maybe. So you can manufacture some things, but I think grooming Scottie Pippen Jr. to be that guy, if you can't find a veteran backup point guard, I think the thing that people just don't realize, we got spoiled with Tyus Jones.
Yeah.
Like people didn't realize it at that point. There were a lot of people, we loved him because of the person that he was. Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah.
But you didn't realize how great of a luxury it was.
The fall off was minimal or at all.
it was just he did it differently.
Yeah.
Like the fall off was minimal just because of the effect of how they played the game. They did it in a different fashion, but you still felt like we can go out there and win just as much with him as we could with John Morant. A different way. Now, could you win a championship? No, you couldn't do that. You need the it factor that John Morant brings to do it. But you felt good with when he's not there, if he's hurt, when he comes out of the game, you still felt fine. Everything's gonna be okay. And so to be able to get back, you can groom someone to get to that point, and or you bring somebody in. But now you're just talking about taking up a roster spot to bring in somebody else to be able to do that. To be able to do that when you already have so many spots that are already filled.
So final verdict: should we do what it takes to make him a roster player now, or use the two-way to our advantage at that time?
Use the two-way to your advantage.
Y'all heard it, goddamn it. Stop talking about it. It's over. Brevin and Anthony already shut it down. So stop talking about it. It's done. Final
With
verdict.
the team
Final
as,
verdict.
exactly, with the team as it is now.
Yeah, as constructed.
You said it perfectly. You used the perfect word for it. You called the luxury that Tyus Jones was. That's
Yes.
a luxury. A backup point guard on this team at that amount of money is
a luxury.
that I don't know if the Grizzlies can afford right now.
Yeah. All right, next verdict. Marcus Smart will be a starter for the Memphis Grizzlies. Final verdict by Brevin.
I'm not. I'm
as constructed.
I as constructed as this is. Not that he does not have starting mentality, doesn't have a starting role. Like he's not a starter in the NBA. I think with how this team is, the makeup. Just if you're asking me, I am playing Vince at that 3 and bringing Marcus off of the bench and playing from there. Now, how does the game end? I don't know how the game ends. But in terms of if you need a backup point guard, that's a role that he can play. He can be versatile in that guard position. He brings leadership. He can anchor that second unit. So if you need scoring, you need playmaking, he gives you that versatility to be able to do it. And it also then allows for there to be some level of size, at least, to the starting lineup, mixed with some athleticism and at that bigger wing position. And so if he does, it's not a bad thing. It's not. But if you ask me, I think we saw enough from Vince, the ability to make standstill threes and the versatility defensively with rebounding and playmaking, because he had to play that role. Then we saw it from him enough that I would feel comfortable with him in that role.
Yeah. Another. Did we get a verdict already, Ken?
Dude, that is a
That
bomb.
was the verdict, right?
That's a verdict, right? Like that's the verdict. But that's
Final verdict,
that's
Marcus
wild.
Smart.
That's wild. Yeah, I love it.
We don't trust you, Marcus Smart. You might get you up out of here. Better get you up out of here, Marcus Smart. It's a final verdict, man.
I just want to say Brevin Knight does not endorse the opinions of Anthony Sain.
No, my thing has always been this. I'll give you my dead honest opinion on Marcus Smart, why I stand strong on starting him. If he's going to be here, right, like Marcus Smart's contract is going to be up in 2 years, so you got to make a hard decision what you're going to do with him. I don't think that the decision is going to be to keep him around. I think by that point, Vince Williams and Gigi will show you they're the wings of the future, right? So I'm like, if you're going to keep him, you need to showcase him as much as you can to maximize his value. I don't think you're going to get much value from other teams seeing Marcus Smart come off your bench. Like that's been my whole thing.
But that might be the role that he plays on for another team, and so they see him in that role.
And they see,
if he's in that role and flourishing in that role, and the team is playing well, then it fits well with what they were going to do.
Yeah.
The reality, it's hard for you to trade for somebody that says you're going to be a starter on our team. Like that, it's a hard thing to do because the rest of the guys have been there. Like you got to be exceptional for teams to trade for you and say when you come here, unless it's a bad team, and why would he want to go from a team that was going to be a winning team, which this Grizzly team will be next year, to a bad team to say I'm starting. It's like for Tyus Jones.
Yeah.
And not to say it was a bad decision, because for Tyus, it was the opportunity. And if you looked on paper, it's like, oh, we don't have to be that bad.
Yeah.
Like, there are some players, some guys that can do some things, and maybe I can orchestrate enough to make it be good. But for all of us, you say, would you choose to play consistent backup minutes on a winning team, or you want to be a starter on a shit team?
Yeah.
I mean, for most guys,
I know
like,
my answer.
I want and my money is the same. Like, like, you're not paying me more. Or I got like, if the money is the same. Like, now if you're paying me more money, then I'm going to the shit team and I'm gonna make money.
Yeah.
Because I always say this is a business of basketball.
Yeah.
If it's substantial. Other than that, then I'll go. I would rather just be the backup and play. And so for Marcus Smart, it's like, yeah, I want to. If I'm gonna leave from a win, I want to at least go to another winning situation. And then more times than not, at another winning situation, that starting lineup, if there's been no injury, they have things that are already somewhat intact. We just need another piece to the puzzle to come in and help.
So you're saying Gigi is third in that pecking order, like you were talking about. Who's the fifth starter? Is that Vince Smart, Gigi, or what are you saying?
I think for me, with who we have, everybody coming back, it's fine for me with Gigi to come off the bench.
Right.
Like the coming off the bench is not like so many times people think like come off the bench, mean, oh, you ain't good.
Yeah.
No, sometimes it's just what fits the
situate your skills
of the
better. Yeah.
and what fits the makeup of the team. Like I need for the guys that come off. If I put everybody that's good and skilled in the starting lineup, then who the hell is coming off the bench?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And sometimes guys like their strengths are better utilized as a reserve role.
And exactly. So then you come in. So now you start to say, okay, if I got Marcus Smart, if I got Gigi Jackson, if I got Brandon Clark, if I have Luke Kennard, and those are guys that I have that are coming off the bench for me in that scenario. Now it fits. What would then? You don't know how many teams play 10 people. Jaren probably stay. There'll be some type rotation of that. If you throw Jake LaRavia in there, we haven't talked Zaire.
Yeah.
What happens with him? So, however, now at least it gives you some options when you turn and look at your bench and say, what do we need right now to go in the game to help change the game?
Yeah.
If I look down the bench, I'm like, damn, ain't none of y'all better than nobody in the game.
And none of y'all better than nobody.
You know what I'm saying? What we changing? What we changing? When it's time to change, so we can't change it.
Exactly, man. All right, I got two more verdicts for you, Brevin Knight. We gonna slide up out of here, man. John Morant.
Okay.
He redeems himself next year. That means when I say redeems himself, he's back in the top 10 player of the league category, national TV games, face of the league talk again. You know, up there with the talks with the SGAs. You know, the Lucas, these type of guys at the guard position, as well as keeping the clean image he's kept this year. Final verdict.
I'm gonna put a stamp on it, and a lot of it goes back to what we said in the lab when we first started in terms of you haven't heard anything about
with
anything.
AAU team. He got an AAU team.
That's all you heard. You haven't heard. There's nothing, and we both around enough.
Yeah,
move. You know enough people within the city.
I ain't heard nothing
that,
like above or below. Like for real.
That's what I'm saying.
On off the grid, I ain't heard nothing. Yeah.
So to me, it is. I wouldn't think any other way because I know in the 9 games that we saw him this year, when the Grizzlies went 7-2,
looking like that dude.
First game back, you think like people like, well, you got to dust the rough, knock the rust off, get yourself ready.
WD-40.
All he did was give us a game winner in the first game back.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? What else would you expect?
Yeah,
I only expect greatness from him when he steps on the floor. Yeah. I only expect him to play a certain way, and it was don't let anything else encroach on that. Don't let anything else affect that. And so as long as he continues to do that, I see him being at this point, everybody has forgotten that this Grizzlies team was number 2 in the West the last 2 years leading up to this year. Been in the playoffs all 4 years since he's been a part of the team. Or the play-in situation since he's been. Like, all of that, with everything else that has happened, we forgot. And that's why I say that's all a matter of his influence. The influence of what got us to where we are, and the influence of everything that went down, how people just totally forgot about this team. So I think he's going, but I think he's going to come back. And yes, well, once again, when they start talking about the best guards in the game, who you buying the ticket to go see, which team is playing well, Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies will be talked about again.
Y'all heard it. Final verdict.
Final stamp that one.
Call 12. Stamp it. Write it down with a Sharpie. You hear me? With a what's the other kind of marker, Ken? Y'all know that.
Sharpie's a good marker, man.
What's the big black John called? You know what I'm talking about? That John. Not the dry erase John, though, man. I'm talking about permanent John.
I'm going to say just the thicker Sharpie.
Yeah, just
the big boy Sharpie.
The heavy Sharpie.
Yeah, the John the teacher throw it from across the anyway. Y'all ain't had that kind of trauma when y'all in school. Y'all nothing about this. But yeah.
It's 2024,
right,
man.
You told some better kid now, you go to jail. All right, man. Last question for my man Brevin Knight, man. With all this stuff we didn't talked about, man, we talking about a pretty good team, sound like, man. You got we done said top point guard in the league type dude. Jaren gonna do all this, and Buddy starting G.G. Jackson, Vince Williams, shooter. You got Luke Kennard, and we done told all these guys working their game. It sound like a good team, man. It sound like a good team. You talking about, Brevin? All right, so final verdict. With all that being said, is there any pressure on one Taylor Jenkins to what are realistic expectations for this team? And if those expectations are not met or looking like they're not about to be met, is it fair to put pressure on one Taylor Jenkins? That's a hard one for you there.
Well, I'll be honest, it's not. And I would say no. And my reasons are the team has only been successful since he's been here. The unsuccessful year was injury riddled. Yeah. But even in the injury riddled season, we still were able to see a lot of bright spots. And I thought they did a good job of continuing to highlight those bright spots and put them in positions that they'll continue to be good now, but things they'll be able for them to use moving forward. I thought that was a good thing. The other thing is when you have players that love a coach as much as these players love Taylor Jenkins, and they are willing to sacrifice some parts of their game to do us in the betterment of the team, then that says something about who he is as a coach and what that means to them. And so we've seen that done. We've seen them talk about it at that level. I think what's been able to happen is he's been able to have enough experiences that when we get to those those moments in games where you need a big decision, that I think he'll be ready to make those decisions. And so the thing that we should expect is that this team should be able to win a playoff series.
Yeah.
And then after winning a playoff series, then you start to reevaluate what it looks like from there. Because it's the circumstances. Who do we play? Who's home court advantage?
Yeah.
Who's healthy, who's not? There's some other things that could factor into it, but I think that this is a playoff team next year, and if it doesn't look like it's going that way, then more than just a question of with Taylor Jenkins, it has to be a question of why is it not happening?
Yeah. As far as next year's expectations, I just throw mine out there. I think it's very similar to what you said. I think we should get past the first round, and we should look like we belong in the second round.
Yes.
I think it should look like it should be a hard-fought series.
Yes.
Because we've got kind of embarrassed the last couple of outings we've had in the playoffs. I think we should look like a team that belongs in the second round and look like a Western Conference Finals-ish team.
Yes.
Either make it or look like we were just
I agree.
something small kept us away, something you can just kind of think. I think those are expectations. But your final verdict is that Taylor Jenkins should be under no serious pressure to meet expectations next year.
No. There is an expectation, but
Okay.
I don't think that expectation should be. It shouldn't be anything bigger than this is a playoff basketball team.
Okay.
Like that should be a realistic expectation. Talking about whoever the bid coming in,
Right.
that they'll have, and that expectation, as I say, doesn't mean you lose your job. Okay, you didn't make, you're fired. It just means that coming into next year, this should be a playoff team. Like that at the end of the day, and you should feel like with the players we have coming back and some of the guys that they have been able to find this year, that this is a team that you feel should win a first round playoff series.
How much grace do you put on, like if things start off kind of rocky? Like how many games? I don't give you an exact number, but like, is there a point where you say, okay, all right, this ain't looking like
I mean, if you start.
I'm still talking about Taylor Jenkins.
No, you start getting 30 games into the season, and you are, or we're 25 games into the season. We look the same way as we look 25 games into the season.
Oh, no. With John too.
Year,
no, it's okay.
with everybody that we have,
Yeah.
then there's an issue.
Yeah. Final verdict. Taylor Jenkins, we on your ass. No, I'm just playing.
I ain't on your ass. I'm not on your ass.
Once again, Brevin Knight does not support.
I am supporting the fact that if we are 25 games in next year where we were this past year, there are questions to be asked. And I think that everyone sitting in there will say the same thing. Like, shit, we want to try to figure it out too.
Yeah.
So you saw it with Ja, man, when he came back.
Oh,
this
yeah.
year,
We were looking like a whole nother team.
looking like a different team.
Yes.
with Bismack Biyombo out there. Yeah, man. Your starting center was Bismack Biyombo. But yeah, man, like I'm with you, man. I think that there are certain things about Jenkins, no matter what you want to say, they're undeniable. Like the players food with this dude. Jaren has a lot of good things to say the other day when he was on
Scheme
Chris
God,
Brothers' show.
baby.
Yeah, and like I said, those type of things play themselves out. And I think we both have similar expectations. So final verdict, I don't know. Take with it what you want to do with it. Use at your own discretion. Just break down, go rewind it and see what you get.
Anthony ain't wanting to put his stamp on that one. He said, take it what you want.
I ain't on that. He said, Taylor Jenkins, I'm on your ass, Taylor Jenkins. but seriously, all joking aside though, like Taylor Jenkins he has created a culture here and the players rock with him.
Well,
you never heard anything bad, like you never seen no eyes roll, you never heard anything like, yeah.
Well, and look at the fact that this year we had the most starting lineups ever in NBA history, the most players playing a game in NBA history, the most players to score 100 points in a season in NBA history. We've had nothing.
That's wild. We had them dudes score 100 in the season.
In a season.
Yeah.
That means that. That's how many minutes that all these people would play. We've had guys sign on the day of games,
right,
down the stretch, like literally.
An hour for the game.
It
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Matthew Hurt's playing today, y'all. Okay, man. Shout out to Matthew Hurt. Yeah,
man, we walked in and Jack White, like literally when I walked in the building, it's like,
Jack
hey,
White.
look, we got Jack White. I was like, who?
Timmy Allen. Let me find you, Tony Allen, brother. Who are you? We found you, Tony Allen. Let me find that out.
We walked in with those guys, and I was literally on the day of games.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And for those teams down the stretch, we play with 8 people for the most part.
Yeah.
For them to still be in a mindset of competing every night. I mean, there was a couple games where it got out of hand, and it was what it was.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they competed every night.
Yeah.
They played together. There wasn't any hero ball out there. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. And that's from GG to Vince down the line.
Yeah.
And so that to me is a credit to the coaching staff, and that the guys still believe in the game plan that we put forth. We all gonna go out here and at least try to execute it to some degree, and they were able to show in some way. But so there are. It's not easy to be a head coach in the NBA
in this type of season for sure. But I'm gonna say this, Kenny. I'm gonna stand on my own word too, because you remember when I did the thing where I broke down what makes a coach good, right?
Right.
One of the key things I said was good coaches find a way, no matter what your situation looks like, to have key moments in the season where you're saying, man, that team played way better than what they're supposed to be doing. And we became that team.
Exactly. We every night.
Win or loss, we became that team. So I gotta hold to my word, Ken. So, final verdict, Taylor Jenkins. We fucks with you. just don't be on the bullshit. Just don't be on the bullshit, Taylor Jenkins. Hey, we better take a break, man. But man, Brevin Knight, appreciate you coming out, man. Y'all know him from Night Court. But don't forget, man, he's just a nigga from New Jersey, man. I'm trying to tell you. My guy Brevin Knight in the building, man. We about to take a break. When we come back, the 3-parter here on the Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
Former Memphis Tiger, former Creighton Blue Jay, Jonathan Lawson.
Didn't play many minutes at either place.
No.
I like Jonathan, though. I wish he would have stayed around last year.
I felt that way, too, because I think he really had some of those moments where you were like, He's got the length. He can handle the ball. He can shoot. He can pass the ball. But it's just never really materialized. So my one big pause, I don't know if he's really someone that you want to pursue as a scholarship player when you have so many holes
I'll say
to fill.
He's probably the most athletic Lawson.
Oh, by far.
Yeah,
So he can run the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's got a little bit of upside defensively that you could probably unlock. You just got to get him in the right place at the right time. I would like it. I would not mind it in the slightest.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Gabe and I talked about that on the Bluff. We talked about the Maui Invitational roster, and I legitimately thought that it was a troll when I saw that online a few weeks ago. I was like, "There's no way that's real. We're getting trolled right now."
What, the teams?
The teams that are there.
Yeah, it's pretty
unreal.
But I think, do you think that has to do with NIL opportunities? Like as a whole?
What do you mean?
Oh, if you are a foreign player, like there's a ruling that you can't.
Maui is in the United States.
Hawaii is the U.S.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's the U.S.
Where did we go last time? Oh,
Dominican.
That's
and
where
then
it
we
was.
went to the Bahamas.
That's what was Bahamas is what I was thinking of.
Dominican
Dominican
was the Bahamas is U.S.
No, I don't think so.
Bahamas is not U.S. God.
What? All right, Kenny, say something after you drink this astronaut.
Yeah.
We're up there in space,
on.
brother.
What is happening?
It's been a long day.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the Sain Show. Shout out once again to my man, Brevin Knight, man. I ain't gonna lie, that was a dope-ass interview, of course, with my man, Brevin, man. Yeah, man, good stuff, man. The three-pointer, we were talking about three things going on in the world of sports. Jontay Porter got his ignorant ass. It's crazy, bro. When the story started breaking, it was exactly what we joked
called that off the rip, bro. That was crazy. Hey, Grandma, I'm on the bullshit tonight.
I'm telling you, hey, I saw him on the parlay. Call May. Call Pooh Baby. Call Tank, whoever. I'm about to tank. I'm about to be on the bullshit. Of course, you got the Josh Diddy still in the league stuff, and Miles Bridges is still in the league type.
Yeah.
Well, all of them need to be gone. Because this dude. But I will say this, man, and I said this on Twitter. I'm gonna make this fast. What he's doing, he's not the only dude in the league who's doing this shit. Like he's not. Like
he just got sloppy with it.
Nothing can make me think he's the only guy in the league.
Hell no.
Who's doing this? Man. It's just too easy to do. He got super sloppy with it. I think he made more than $20,000. I think that's all that they could trace him on. But I don't think he was just betting on himself. I think that he had other people getting money. Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't he?
It is wild that doing something that's completely legal got that man a lifetime ban in the NBA.
Hey, but
I get it.
Here's the other reality of that.
I get it, but
it's not like we talking about Michael Porter Jr. So he don't have to be lifetime banned because he ain't even be in the league long no way.
Right.
So
he's like, I was up out of here in 2 years anyway, man. What are you talking about?
All right, bro. Number two, man. We're gonna talk about the NBA playoffs. Miami Heat lost last night. We're beating Philadelphia for most of the game. Lost at the end of the game. Jimmy Butler suffered an injury. Will not play in the next game tomorrow.
He might not play if they make it through. He might not play for a couple of.
Well, I doubt he's gonna make it through. Well, who they got? Who they get? Atlanta, huh?
Atlanta.
Oh,
they might
be
be Atlanta.
Effing trash.
Yeah.
And bro, and like I told people, the Hawks are better when Jontay married without Trey. Like this, argue if you want. Now I'm the same person who was like, okay, stop saying the nonsense about the Grizzlies are better without Ja, right? But that Hawks team, I'm telling you, man, Trae Young is not the dude that you build.
He's not that dude.
No, he ain't. I'm sorry, man. And also, the Lakers advanced. They won their game. They get the award of getting Denver in the first round.
Hey, congratulations!
Yeah, about to get. Oh man,
to get that ass up
Kenny,
out of
I don't
here.
think you understand, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jimmy Butler. I hate to see Jimmy go down. You know I hate Miami though. So I'm like, shout out to y'all losing. I don't want people to think it's me celebrating Jimmy Butler, but them being a game away from being out of here, I celebrate. They were like this last year too though. They went all the way to the finals. New Orleans Pelicans, man, worst thing possible to happen. Looking like they were going to make that comeback against the Lakers. Zion gets hurt.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram didn't show up. McCollum didn't show up.
Dude, let me tell you, Zion.
My girl, poor Real. Oh man, Real was Real going through over there.
Dog,
man.
let me just say though, I know he got hurt, but when Zion is on,
Incredible.
unguardable.
Unguardable. Like one of the scariest dudes in the league to deal with for sure. Number 3, man. No, what else we got going on?
NBA playoffs.
And what else is going on? Oh, Giannis is still trying to see they're going to get him. It looks like he's not going to be available
for
round
a couple of series if they make it through.
Man, it's
they might not make it to that first
It's
round.
over for y'all, man. We gonna holler at y'all
because they're playing Indiana first round, right?
Yeah, and Golden State Warriors have been eliminated. I'm ecstatic. Here's the thing, man. Y'all won the championship a couple years ago, right? You should have. The year after that,
get rid of it.
You saw it wasn't working.
Blow it up.
You should not have doubled down.
Yep, they doubled down.
You should have let Dre go his separate ways.
Yep.
And there are a lot of people saying put something around Steph. Y'all don't have something to put something
what
around.
Can you
Steph.
Put around Steph? You got yeah.
Like I heard a guy today, like, oh man, they're probably gonna part ways with Draymond. Draymond's on the contract, bro.
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna take who's gonna trade for Draymond Green?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
he makes a shit ton of money.
yeah, and Klay Thompson's done. Like if you let him go, whatever. That
Steph
team
ain't going anywhere, but they're not going to be able to.
Are you sure though?
I don't think he's going anywhere.
I'm gonna tell you what I would do. I put this on Twitter.
Okay.
If I'm going to state, do I go and do some goofball trade? Why trade Kuminga and future picks and all this type of stuff to go get another guy to play whatever, or even whatever, 2 guys or whatever? Like, because you ain't got a lot of good dudes on this team, bro. That team is cheeks. They don't have any good tradable assets, right? Do I do something to go maybe get one other guy, some constellation trade to get one other guy? Or do I just say, okay, this is the inevitable, bro? Like, this is what we are. We had a hell of a run.
Yeah, man.
This thing is over.
Yeah.
Let me do right by Steph.
Right.
I'm calling one of 2 teams, and I'm gonna make a deal that's going to set me up for my rebuild.
Okay.
And yes, Golden State, you guys are due for a rebuild. Like, it's not like y'all don't. Everybody, the Chicago Bulls had to go through a rebuild with Jordan and Pippen, right?
Right.
Like, everybody had to go through a rebuild. San Antonio Spurs, everybody, all these great teams, all these great dynasties had to go through a rebuild. Y'all aren't exempt from that. Steph Curry is going to be old one day, right? He's 37. He's about to turn 37 next year, right? This is what I do if I'm the Golden State Warriors. I'm calling one of 2 teams. The Orlando Magic or the Houston Rockets. Give me multiple young players and picks, and I'll give you the player that'll take y'all from young up-and-coming team to contenders, or put you in the upper echelons of your conference for those last few years.
It's got to be Orlando, right?
He would be nasty in Orlando.
Joke.
I ain't gonna lie.
With Paolo?
I trade what's in there?
Yeah.
The wing. Wagner.
Yeah.
I trade Wagner another little shit.
And that's not a bad look for Golden State either, man. Like,
Yeah, nice little pickup. The trick with the I get him and Jonathan Isaac ass, get his holy ass. No, I mean you got a lot nice little pieces there. Houston got more young pieces that are good. But as long as I got Curry and what's my boy? Orlando. Big Carmelo Anthony. Paolo. You got you can work around that, man. Plus you get your draft pick this year.
I could see, with Houston they got pieces, but
Houston
would you
be
gut
nasty.
your backcourt? I mean, Van Fleet would have to be a part of that deal.
Yeah, it'd be built around Fred VanVleet. And maybe they got so many dudes
They
there,
got
man.
so many guys.
Yep.
I mean, you keep Jalen if you're Houston. Do you try to keep Jalen?
I keep Jalen Green. I was sitting, what's the dude named the wing that they picked up? Cam Whitmore. I said him.
That kid. Whew.
Man, as long as I get to keep, I might even send one, the Thompson twin. No, hold on. As long as I get to keep Jalen Green, the Thompson twin, Steph, Michael Harrell, what's his name? What's his name?
What's his name?
The big.
So my question would be: would you package a deal around Alperin and Fred VanVleet for stuff?
Hell no, I'm keeping him.
They got Steven.
Steven who? Adams?
Yeah.
I sent Steven Adams.
Okay, then send Steven then.
Man, hey, I'm
You got
trying
to come
say,
off
bro.
one of those bigs, right?
I
Like
would do if I'm Golden State. I'm not trying to build around stuff. Even if you go get something to build around, like my boy Tev from Parrish and them podcasts.
Yeah, LBR.
They were saying,
Let's be real.
Yeah, Let's Be Real podcast. They were saying put a package together to go get Karl Anthony Towns. I'm like, all right, you're still gonna be ass. Like it's gonna be Steph and Karl Anthony Towns, and then what? Because
how does that money make sense?
And then
though?
included Draymond too, right?
Right.
So I'm like,
They ain't
whatever.
got enough pieces. Like, who do they have? I mean, Andrew Wiggins, what's his contract? Like,
You basically taking the old Minnesota Timberwolves and sticking Steph Curry on it.
Exactly.
Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins.
Right.
Put Steph Curry. That's not a contending team in the West. Sorry. Right. And then in a couple of years when Steph retires, you got $60 million worth of Karl Anthony Towns as your star player. No.
you're stuck. Again, you're in the same boat.
I would do right by Steph, send him to a team like that.
What if Steph doesn't want to leave? What do you do if you're Golden State if he doesn't want to
If
go?
that's the case, I'm begging LeBron James and Bronny.
Interesting. Yeah, and Bronny. That's interesting.
That could keep them alive. If LeBron and Steph get together, yeah. Let their old ass ride out to the sunset.
They want to
together.
play together.
Yeah. I can see something like that.
Interesting.
All right, number 3. Caitlin Clark signs a historical shoe deal, man.
Hell yeah.
With Nike, getting their own signature shoe. Also, your boy Greg Doyle. Man, gross.
Weird ass, man. God, oh.
Man, that's so nasty, bro. Yeah, but you heard that news.
He said it was oafish, and I'm like, nah, bro, it's called perverted. Is what that is, man.
Sick
It's
ass
gross,
dude.
man.
But I ain't even gonna touch on that. I'm gonna talk about the shoe thing.
Let's do that.
And I'm gonna make this real quick too. A lot of people are upset because Caitlin Clark gets this unprecedented Nike signature shoe. First time ever a rookie WNBA player's got a shoe deal before playing a single game in the WNBA, right?
So crazy.
And a lot of people, that's wild. And a lot of people are upset about it, saying A'ja Wilson, multi-time champion, MVP, probably the best player in
She's
the WNBA.
the best player in the WNBA.
And she does not have a shoe deal, right? And
I understand it.
I agree. And when Sabrina got her Sabrina shoes are fire too. My daughter Sabrina wants a pair. I'm gonna get her some of those for her graduation. But when she got her shoe, the why doesn't A'ja Wilson thing started, right? And I was like, yeah, A'ja Wilson's the best player in the league. She should have a shoe, right?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna make a couple of quick points about that. I agree.
Yeah.
A'ja Wilson does deserve a shoe.
Yeah.
But let's not pretend like we don't understand who Caitlin Clark is right now in the grand scheme of things.
Come on. Game
I'm
changer.
gonna take y'all back in history, right? Because I saw Chris talking about this. That man had Sharon Brown and a lot of other ladies Grizz Twitter on his ass. So I was like,
happy with Chris,
I gotta
did
put my
they?
boy to the side, learn how to teach him how to avoid these type of arguments, right? So he had Sharon Brown and a lot of ladies on his ass, right?
Yeah.
So. And this is my rebuttal because I'm sure they'll be on my ass now, but it won't be based on anything I tweeted. They're gonna be talking to the air. There could be people who wonder why they say this stuff to me, right? So here's my response to that. 1985, right? In the NBA, the two best players in the league were Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Let's
right?
go.
They had a
Phenomenal
shoe deal,
basketball
right,
players.
The
Yeah.
two best players in that era. They had shoe deals with Converse where they were wearing Converse shoes that were matching their team colors, but there was no Converse Magic and no Converse Bird, right?
Yep.
There was a kid from North Carolina that Nike had faith in that never played a game in the NBA.
Never played a game.
And he got the shoe called the Air Jordan. First ever player with a signature shoe.
With his name on it. Yep.
And the rest is history, right?
Yep.
Nike made a decision that
Right.
Caitlin Clark, the same lady that said that made it where big enough to play in.
Right.
Let's go rent out another arena to play in.
The one the Pacers play in.
Right. And then we sold that one out too.
Yep.
That's the type of stuff she's doing. Unprecedented things.
It is what it is, man.
Here's something. Hype is not quantifiable. It is what it is. You can't justify hype. It is what it is. Whether she's the incoming face of the league or not, because I think they're going to be on her ass when the
Yes, they
season
are.
starts. If you saw the national championship game with Tarasi and it was Dan
Sue
Tarasi
Bird.
and
Sue
Sue
Bird,
Bird, they was
yeah.
like, yeah, we about to
On
tell
her
your ass.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
to hell with this girl, we about to get on your ass when the season starts.
And guess
right?
what? Millions of people are going to tune in and watch it.
Yes, and here's the thing, man. I tuned into the national championship game, yes, to see greatness, yes, because I was pulling for Don Staley, and I was down there cheering for this lady to lose because
Yes.
she is that good.
Yes.
And I'm a hater like that,
Yeah,
right?
'cause we haters, man.
Right, so that's a real thing, man. That's undeniable. Like, you can't act like that's not a real thing. And whether the hype is valid or she's going to pan out to be whatever, I don't care that she didn't win the national championship. that lady, the hype that she gets is deserved, and whether it's deserved or not, it is what it is.
And let me say something else about
But
it.
does Asia Wilson deserve a shoe? Yes.
Hype isn't fair.
No, it ain't fair though. It ain't
Hype's not
at all.
fair, man.
But Nike was right with Jordan, and we'll see if they're right with Caitlin Clark. But I tell you what, man, about to go to the break. When we come back, special edition of Inside the Sain Brain here on the Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
The UFC pre-fight show, the pre-weigh-in show, we're ranking all the Centennial cards and the matches that were in those Centennial cards. 3 out of the 4 of them had Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway as the number 1 fight in all the 100, 200, 300 cards before it happened.
Yeah.
Like, because everybody knew. Like, everybody knew this fight has no choice but to be total badass.
What I can never get enough of Max Holloway with. He probably had won that fight as they got into the 5th round. And he started, he probably had at least a split decision. Probably. Just based on strikes and volume and how he was going about his work. But when Justin said at the end of the fight, hey, let's get in the middle. I'm going to try to knock your ass out. Max said, okay, I'll try to knock your ass out too. And he got the better of him.
Tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
It's game week. Unfortunately, it's not Friday night stripes. No. It is Saturday at 3 p.m. stripes. What are you hoping to see out of the spring game?
A lot of position battles kind of going on. I think they're going to be working on that pretty much throughout all spring and fall.
Let me ask you this. Do you want to see like a 1s versus 1s, 2s versus 2s, or do you want to do it like they did it last year? It was like a draft.
I think they're more likely to do what they did last year, the draft.
Yeah.
But
I think they set up a lot of camp around that.
Yeah, they break up into those teams and do like the golf competition and stuff. I'd rather see 1s versus 2s, just to be frank. But 1s versus 1s, excuse me, and 2s. But I think you're putting out too much film. You're kind of giving away your depth chart in your lineup at that point.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. At Create A Cig, our top priority is to provide the best customer service experiences possible while offering the largest variety of vape supplies, legal THC products, and smoking accessories. Our trained sales associates are here to assist any and all customers to help them find the best products available. With our daily deals, weekend deals, loyalty rewards program, and our punch card program, there are tons of rewards to earn to help our customers save plenty of money along the way. Check out one of Create A Cig's 4 locations across the greater Memphis area and come visit us.
All right, y'all, welcome back. Final segment of the show, Inside the Sain Brain, sponsored by our good friends at Create A Cig. 4 area locations. My favorite one, of course, is the one Midtown, Madison, and McLean. Go check it out, especially this Saturday, man, for 420. I'm going to be in the building, man, for 420. 420 specials all day long. Kenny's going to tell y'all more about that when we end the segment. I'm just going to tell y'all this right here, man. Like I said, 420 is a smoker's holiday, man. Y'all know what it is, man. I'm going to tell you my weed journey, man. People might think, Kenny, I've been smoking all my life. I've been smoking since I was a young man. All right. I was a pretty lame dude, man. I'm a preacher's kid, man. I wasn't doing all this stuff as a kid, man. I got turned out in college, and I was
playing drums.
I was hanging with the frat boys. I went like Gigi.
You're playing drums like Gigi.
I wish my life did line up like Gigi Jackson. I ain't gonna lie. That dude's looking kind of perfect out here. Perfect, but no. So I'm hanging with the frat boys, man. I spoke to a couple of doobies in college or whatever, man. And didn't really keep doing it. It wasn't really an experience that I really liked. You know what I mean? I don't remember liking marijuana in college when I tried it, right? But then I went on a family trip. We went to Orlando. Not Orlando. We went to Orange Beach. No, we went to Orlando. Family trip to Orlando, right? And my nephew and my niece had some edibles, right? So this is just real regular marijuana, homemade edibles, not
like brownies. And stuff.
Yeah. They had like some Sour Patch something, something strips or whatever. So I had that. I got high as shit as an adult for the first time off edibles, right? And I really enjoyed the experience. Yeah. Got on the airplane, Kenny, my flight back to Memphis, and tried it again. And experience what the paranoia of marijuana can do for you on a raggedy ass. What's the airline, man? I can't think.
Spirit?
That one, I think. So I'm in there thinking I'm about to die. Going through real bad turbulence. I got Gabe in the thing with me. I'm praying to God, handing my soul over to Christ, right? Thinking I'm about to die. But it wasn't nothing but the weed because it was just regular turbulence. I just thought I was about to die. So I was going through a situation similar to the NBA player. I can't remember. He used to play for he was on the Grizzlies, but we didn't play him. Cleveland Cavaliers. He said he was better than Kyrie before LeBron came.
Huh?
When LeBron came, he got his ass out of there.
Who are you talking about?
Don't worry about it.
Anyway.
But that's how I was going on. And then I liked it. You know what I mean? I liked that whole experience. I didn't really have access to weed, right? And so then in 2020 during the pandemic, and everybody thought the world was about to come to an end, everybody was stressed out. I was dating a girl whose daughter had access to the dispensaries in Arkansas. So she would get stuff, and we did edibles for 420 in 2020. And yeah, man, and then I hooked up with my friend. I'm not incriminating this.
Yeah,
no. Hooked up with my friend John Harden in Sports 56.
Hey, man.
My friend John Harden is Sports 56, man. And he, introduced me to vaping marijuana and things like that. He introduced me to Delta 8, was a sponsor he had at the time. And the rest is history, man. I'm a big fan of Delta 8 because I can just kind of get up and go to the store and buy it. Like, I don't have to, have a plug. I ain't got to worry about fentanyl and that bitch. Yeah. Like, I can just get up and get this, and I take this diet weed. It gets me high. I can take this for this, and, I love it. And I love the stuff that's at our good sponsors, Create A Cig. Like I said, they have people that talk to you, give you instructions on what you're taking, give you any, advice or whatever. And they'll hold your hand through the process, man. It's not like, and it's not like you have to come in there and you feel dumb because you don't know the lingo.
Yep.
And they'll see what do you need this for? What are you dealing with? They'll get you squared away.
It's like an Apple store.
Yeah, it's like going to the Apple store for weed.
It's crazy.
and for nicotine. Yeah. So I'll let you tell everybody more about what's going down, some of the specific packages they'll have, some of the deals they'll have, because it's going down. They got flour in there,
they got everything.
Grinders, everything you got to do, man. If you are a Delta 8 legal marijuana person, like I said, they got vapes for you, pre-rolls, flour, edibles, all of that is there and more. But go ahead, Ken.
The sale started today, or started yesterday. Mm-hmm. This episode is dropping on Friday.
Yeah.
It'll be going all weekend for the 420 sale. 30% off a lot of really dope items, 25% off of the cart mods, 20% off all edibles, which your boy's going to partake.
Man,
and then just smoking accessories, glassware, all that kind of stuff, man. And like Anthony said, come to Saturday, 3 to 5, 10 North McLean.
We ain't taking no pictures, though. Unless your wife fine. No, man, no. We ain't taking no pictures, man. I might be by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He's gonna have glasses on, sitting like weekend at Bernie's, like he said last time. We're gonna have a good time, man. Come and hang out with us for a couple of hours. We'll have some Same Asylum packs for free giveaways. Then they'll have those sales, man. It's just gonna be a blast.
It's going down. It's going down, man. See you guys at Create A Cig, man. But Kenny, I tell you what. Great show today, man. Happy 420 again to all y'all who celebrate. Great show. Shout out to my man, Brevin Knight, man. Man.
Legend.
More stuff coming. More stuff coming from him, of course. For Kenny Stufffield behind the glass, this your boy, Anthony Sain. Appreciate y'all, man. Happy 420. And we out.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.